Welcome to Comic Drop's weekly comic roundup, and this week we have a little bit of a different episode considering the biggest thing for DC this year dropped today. Rebirth #1 came out, but before we talk about that one, some other interesting news happened on the Captain America side of things. Joining me today is Ander, Lily, and how are you doing, man?
I'm great. Let's talk some comics.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So, I know you're a huge Captain America fan.
Yes.
What did you think about today's issue overall, and then the huge twist at the end?
Okay, so we're going to start with everything besides the twist right now, because that's huge.
It's a good start.
So this follows the attack on Pleasantville. I forgot what it was called, Avengers Standoff or something.
Yeah.
And Captain America, Steve Rogers, is back. He's young again. He's strong, and this all came from a result of the Cosmic Cube, who took the form of a young girl named Kobik or something.
Yeah.
So this is his new series. I gotta say, it felt like a return to formula. It felt good reading another Steve Rogers comic again. The art is gorgeous. So basically, Steve is fighting this new Hydra that's it's basically like ISIS a little bit, and if you read it, it touches upon a lot of issues.
It's a lot of current issues. Yeah.
A lot of them. And so Red Skull is kind of leading this new underground Hydra. You know, they're recruiting these young, down on their luck individuals. It sounds really cool. It's a really great issue.
I really liked it, actually. It was the first Captain America comic that I've read, besides Civil War, if you count that. But, and it felt like it was how I imagined a Captain America comic should be, up until the end.
Yeah, exactly. It really was.
Felt, and I was reading it and I was like, wow, yeah, this is Captain America. This is awesome.
Felt like a blockbuster story coming, you know. We saw Baron Zemo back.
That was really cool.
Yeah, and his new shield and suit is so awesome.
His suit looks so good. I really, really like his suit.
Yeah, it's so good. And then the last 2 pages.
Yeah. Okay, so spoiler alert, spoiler warning if you haven't somehow heard about it by now. So the last 2 pages, Andrew, what happens?
So it sounds like Captain America has been a Hydra agent his entire life. Let that sink in.
So Captain America,
symbol of freedom, the Sentinel of Liberty, has been
the good old US of A.
Yeah, has been a Hydra agent, pretty much a Nazi. So there has to be a bigger plan in place, because right now,
honestly, there aren't words. There's not. It just on paper, just like that, saying Captain America's a Hydra agent, that goes against everything that he is.
Exactly. It's just maybe it sounded good on paper to Marvel, but if you look at social media right now, it's a nightmare.
I mean, I get that, you have to make new stories and have these new twists, and, you can't just retell the same old story with these characters, and I get that, but at the same time, there's a line. There's some things that you don't do, and I feel like this is definitely one of them. I mean, we could totally be wrong, and they could have some crazy, insane payout for what this is, but
taking it as it is right now,
it's not
really
good.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
But I was saying on Twitter today that I thought it was going to be his mind had been a little altered with his when he got restored by Kobik.
With the Cosmic Cube.
With the Cosmic Cube, so maybe he's got some false memories right now, because we've seen that Kobik is unstable. So,
okay, that could make sense.
So I'm going with that, because I will not believe that Steve Rogers is the Hydra agent.
That's actually that's a pretty. Andrew, you should write Captain America. There you go.
Yeah?
Pitch
Okay.
that to Marvel.
There we
That's
go.
better than making him a Hydra agent in the first place.
It's just, it's like 2 years I've been wanting another Captain America book to read, and then I get this.
This is how they repay. Like, this is how they treat you.
I just can't catch a break with Marvel.
But I mean, other than that, it was a fantastic book.
Other than that, it was amazing. It felt
Other than going against all of what Captain America represents,
and
it was wonderful.
Like I said, I wouldn't get too worried right now because this is the first issue. And
I mean, yeah.
There's a big there will be a plan in place.
I'm definitely interested. I'm definitely going to pick up the next issue.
Definitely.
Like, I'm sure it's going to be good and interesting. So, I mean, there's that. Like, that's good.
It's just man, this is not a great start. I mean,
it's just frustrating.
if you just look at social media right now, they're being called Nazi sympathizers.
That's not good.
It's just you got to think how the readers are going to take it, and they're not a lot of them are gonna say, oh man, there must be a big twist, there must be something coming. They're just gonna take it how it is and say,
Why are you doing this?
Cap
This
is a
not
Nazi.
how. Yeah.
And unfortunately now the damage is really done, and I don't know. I know there's already a lot of people who are trying to boycott the book.
I don't think they thought that far ahead.
No.
I don't think they thought about that.
I don't know. I guess just we gotta tune in next month, see what happens. I mean, aside from
Hopefully it pans out.
yeah, aside from the reveal, it was an amazing comic.
Yeah. I would definitely recommend reading it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, beautiful
Read
art.
it for yourself.
Okay, pre-reveal, I would have given it a 9 out of 10. Post, probably an 8 out of 10. I mean, it doesn't kill it for me, but
Yeah, it's still really solid, but if you take away the fact that it's like Captain America,
Yeah.
and that's a really good story.
I will say that we never saw his mom actually go to the meeting.
That's true.
So we still don't know that. So there's still a lot of ifs. So if ands, and it's
but like at the same time, he threw that dude out of a plane.
it could be just a way of making it appear that he's Hydra, because Zemo was still on that ship.
That's true. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Just check out number 2. Don't go in there and just start boycotting just because of one issue. It's the first issue.
Give it a chance.
Give it a chance. Give it 2,
Give
3
it some
issues.
time.
And if you're not liking where it's going, then cut it.
Yeah. It's fair.
Yeah. But other than that, yeah, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. You?
I'd probably about the same.
All right.
Pre-reveal 9, post 8.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
All right.
Okay, so
big-
moving on,
the
the
big
big
stuff.
thing that happened today. This is spoiler warning now for Rebirth. I'm just gonna talk. We're gonna talk about it, all spoilers. Which honestly, the spoilers came out a couple days ago, anyways. DC
sucks.
lifted the embargo themselves after the spoiler leak, so I'm pretty sure that you've heard them by now.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, so Rebirth came out today, finally, after the wait, and I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
It was fantastic.
It was, I don't really know what I expected, but it was so much more than like what I could have expected. It was, Jeff Johns managed to craft another universe changing event for DC, and it was so good. I loved it.
Reading it,
And
oh, sorry, go ahead.
it set up the future for like all of the Rebirth titles so well.
It really did.
I don't know. It was so good.
Reading it almost took me back to reading Blackest Night again. I don't know, it just had that same feel to me.
Yeah.
Well, it leaves more questions than answers, but
That's true.
that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's supposed to get you excited for the future.
Exactly. So I don't know. Should we just go into some of these plot points?
I mean, yeah, I have it in front of me too. I think I hear you flipping through
Yeah.
it. so-
Oh, is that too loud?
No, you're
Okay.
It's understandable.
All right.
But yeah, So the first chapter, I was thinking about this before we started. Actually, the first chapter is such a like, to me, it's such a phenomenal like look at sort of the history of like the crisis type events in DC and like just the like DC's overall like universe and some of the main characters. Like it was such a great. I don't know, like, because I feel like anyone could pick this up and read it, and like they would definitely have a lot of questions, but I don't think they would be completely lost.
Right.
And so I think that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, I don't know.
So if you haven't read, or you don't know, the narrator of Rebirth is Wally West, who
Pre-52
Wally
Wally
West,
West.
who has been missing since the New 52 started and has been demanded by fans.
Yeah, there was a major uproar
Exactly.
when Wally wasn't included in the New 52.
I think the best thing about this comic is that it sounds exactly how the long-time readers have been feeling. Like when
Yeah.
he talks about, because right now I'm worse than dead, I'm forgotten.
Yes.
Like that line to me really stuck.
And
out.
then also, I felt like it was very much from the reader's perspective. Whenever he first talks about the world, he's like, I look at this world and I love it, but there are definitely things missing.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like that's how a lot of fans feel with the New 52 that they've created. Like,
Exactly.
there's definitely great aspects about it, but there's also a lot missing Wally West, among other things.
Mm-hmm. The legacy, basically almost all the chapters. Legacy, love, hope.
It was about DC Comics
Exactly.
and what they are, and it was awesome. I think that Wally narrating it was great, and then there was another plot point that I had. Totally lost it.
Well, I guess we could talk about the big one that came from Justice League involving Joker, if you'd like.
Oh yeah. So this also shows up in the first couple pages of Rebirth, but I don't remember which issue it was, but Batman asked the Mobius chair what Joker's true name is, and the chair responds with an answer, and he says that's not possible. And so we've been waiting months to find out, or to see if we'll even get an answer to it, and we don't get a name, which I like. I'm glad that we didn't get a name.
Agreed.
But we get the answer that there's 3 Jokers, which I don't, and from the pages in Rebirth, when I'm looking at it, it looks like there's like the original Joker, like the older style comics Joker,
Yeah.
and then there's like around the Killing Joke and like Death in the Family. Yes,
Right.
Death in the Family is Jason Todd. Death of is,
Yeah.
and then the Capullo and Snyder, they're around on Joker.
Yeah.
And so that's I don't know how they're gonna have that play out.
Yeah. I'll admit this is the one plot point that I'm not too keen on right now.
It's the one that I feel is the most. I don't think anyone asked for this one really.
To me, it just kind of makes Batman look pretty stupid that he couldn't figure out that they're 3 different individuals.
Yeah, I don't know how. Yeah, I guess it all depends how it
Yeah.
plays. I don't.
Yeah. I guess I kind of liked it. It was just one individual, kind of like.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool aspect. I'll say that I don't know how I feel about it
Yeah.
until it plays out more.
Agreed. We'll go with that.
I'm very interested, but
Yeah.
I think it was unnecessary. It was fine how it was,
Yeah, I agree.
but it could still end up being okay. And then Wally, he goes to the plot point that I had forgotten about. It was Wally's been trapped in the Speed Force since the New 52 started, and whenever Darkseid was destroyed during the Darkseid War, there was a crack in the barrier that was keeping him out, and so he was able to come back into the New 52 reality, and so now he's trying to find someone to go to communicate with, to be like, hey, like, there's something that y'all need to know, because Wally knows that someone else manipulated reality when Flashpoint happened, and that's why 10 years of the heroes' lives are gone. That's the explanation that we get for the continuity condensation that happened with the New 52. And I like that explanation. I think it works. And so I really like it. It's cool. And so now Wally is trying to find someone to be like, hey, y'all need to remember this, like, because it's important. And so he's found Bruce Wayne first, and so he goes to him and tries to explain things to him, but Bruce doesn't recognize him immediately. But I really like this scene, and like I didn't notice it while I was reading it, but someone pointed it out later on that it's very similar to the scene in Batman v Superman where Barry comes and talks to Bruce in the Batcave. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. And then the whole referencing Flashpoint, that was cool.
Yeah.
The leather from Thomas Wayne.
I love that moment so much.
So it did happen. Everyone knows that now. That the past events from DC history are still
is canon.
Yeah.
It's one continuous timeline,
Exactly.
which is crazy. I think that's really cool, honestly.
Yeah. And so, like you said, I wanted to call him Bart. It's Wally. Wally West. Kind of he's going through the Speed Force, and he's just trying to find someone to remember him. I thought that was really interesting.
And then basically after that, we get the recap of the Flashpoint, reality changing and all that stuff, and how someone intervened. And then after that, we kind of get we go through the different heroes that we have in the DC universe currently.
So we see the new Blue Beetles. How do you pronounce it? Is it Jaime Reyes?
I have no idea, actually.
I always want to call him Jamie, but I don't think it's I think it's Jaime Reyes. Anyway, he and Ted Kord are going to be together.
I really liked their interaction. I thought it was cool.
Agreed.
I don't know anything about them, so.
Yeah. I don't either. I'm not a huge Blue Beetle fan. But it'll be interesting to hear.
Dr. Fate showed up. That makes me really interested. Honestly, I'll pick up the book for Dr. Fate alone.
And which Dr. Fate is it?
That is I didn't even think about that. That's a good, he just says, I am Dr. Fate.
Is it Nelson? Is it the Earth 2 one, or is it the new one from the DCU?
I feel like it's not the new one.
I think it's Nelson. It looks like Kent Nelson to me.
Oh, I would be very excited if it was Nelson.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we all think that the Scarab is alien tech, and he says no, it's magic.
Yeah.
So are we going to see this book being more mystical than like sci-fi?
I'm interested. Okay,
I'd be okay with that.
For Dr. Fate, I'm picking it up now. I have to. And then we also see the Atom, Ray Palmer.
Yes.
He's talking with, what is his name? I can't remember.
It's like his assistant.
Yeah, it's Ryan. Ryan. I don't know if we get a last name. But anyways, and he gives him some cryptic warning about something in the microverse. He shrinks to a small enough level, and he notices something in the microverse. I can't remember.
Is this the first time we're seeing Ray Palmer since the Pre-52?
I think maybe. I'm not sure, honestly.
I only remember Atomica from Forever Evil.
That's a good point.
I don't remember.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I want to say yes.
Yeah. Anyway, he's back. So
yes, he's in this comic, and there's setting up a future plot point, very obviously.
Oh, another one, Jessica Cruz.
Very excited for her book after Justice League.
So a little rundown, because this happened in Justice League 50 today, is that she had been controlled by Power Ring, and so she gave up her life basically to save Flash from the Black Racer. That's his name, right? Black Racer.
Yes.
Okay. And in doing so, she killed not herself, but Volthoom, or is that his name?
I don't know how to say it. Name. I just always read it and just say like the V guy in my head.
Yeah, me too. It's like Volthoom, or it's
something. I just kind of like go over it.
Yeah, same. And then she becomes an actual Green Lantern then, and her story has been so cool because she started off as just so scared of
she was
terrified of this new power ring she got, and then by the end of this arc she overcame that fear and she's now a Green Lantern. I thought that was perfect.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm very excited for Green Lanterns now.
Me too. It's probably my second most anticipated book after Aquaman, obviously.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm so pumped.
And do we get anyone else before that?
We saw Jackson Hyde, Aqualad.
Yes.
We also saw Pandora, who is...
Yes, we see Pandora get vaporized. Actually.
I mean...
Wink, wink. We'll talk about it more later.
I mean, it's okay. We haven't seen her forever.
Yeah. She's yelling at this person saying that she'll show the world, or the world will find out that they're a cruel and lonely monster, and then they vaporize her.
Yep.
So, then we see Grail with her baby father, Darkseid.
Yep. You want to talk about...
Literally, baby. Yeah, so Justice League 50, a lot of stuff happened. But basically, by the end of the story, after using the anti-life equation, going through various hosts, and power shifting, Grail gets the baby of, what is her name? Superwoman, yes, and is actually the child of her and Alexander Luthor from Earth 3. And so she gets that baby, and it's infused with the anti-life equation. The anti-life equation leaves by the end of the issue, but it's infused with Darkseid because she did an ancient Amazon ritual, and it was really crazy. But basically, by the end of the issue, Darkseid is in the baby, but she's raising him now.
Yeah.
So
and the
that's
big twist with Wonder Woman.
Oh yes, she has a twin brother.
Yeah.
Which is really crazy. I can't believe I forgot about that.
Jason, apparently.
Yes, his name is Jason, and he's the chosen one too. So.
And that's going to be the first story arc for Wonder Woman Rebirth.
One thing that I have to say about Wonder Woman, the art looks absolutely incredible.
It looks so good.
And I'm really excited for that. I'm excited for that book, and I think that's an interesting twist that I didn't see coming to
same.
her.
That makes me so excited for that book.
And then after that, we see the fallout for Superman 52, which was the ending of the Final Days of Superman arc, which sadly the new 52 Superman did finally die, which Superman 52 was really emotional for me, honestly. Whenever he was laying there and saying goodbye to everyone, it got to me. But
I suppose that part was, but it just, to me, it felt kind of anticlimactic. It just kind of ended, and I don't know. It was a pretty good story arc. I liked it.
We see the fallout from that, and the world reacting to the loss of Superman, and then we see Green Arrow and Black Canary, Arrow writers. And so Wally West is talking about how he's noting that the time loss that they all have has affected them, and that Black Canary and Green Arrow have this feeling, but they can't explain it, and they don't know why, and it's because they lost 10 years of their lives. And so we get that feeling, and then so that's sort of the world repairing that DC is doing with Rebirth, that fans have been asking for.
It's bringing back those relationships, and I think this chapter is called Love, and
I believe so.
And like you said, it talks about Green Arrow and Black Canary. So check out the Green Arrow book because.
And then it also touches on the next page, Aquaman and Mera. Aquaman proposes to Mera. Which is really cool.
Fantastic. I'm super excited. About time.
It is about time. That's really cool, though. And then Wally finds Linda Park, his lightning rod that he's always used to get back to reality whenever he's trapped in the Speed Force. And if anyone's going to remember him, it's her. That's what he thinks. And so he goes to her, and she doesn't remember him. and so he gets sucked back into the Speed Force. And their engagement was incredible. This comic, with the interactions between Wally and the people that he does see in this comic, and just Wally's narration, honestly, is so... It's emotional, but I wish there was a better word to describe it. It's phenomenally done. I loved it.
Yeah, it is.
But
it's touching, and it's... Yeah, like you said, it's emotional.
It really, you feel like Wally has actually been gone and like trapped in the Speed Force for all these years, and like you feel like he is forgotten, and it really hits you, and so there's that. And so then they continue with more, going through more of the heroes that we see. We see Dick Grayson and Cyborg and a couple of other people.
So we see some of the other books that they're teasing, like the Batman book with the new heroes, Gotham.
Yeah, there's that one.
And I forgot what the other one was. Hellblazer.
Yeah, they teased that.
With Swamp Thing.
And then we get to one of the most emotional scenes in anything ever to me. Wally goes back and he finds Barry, and I lost it, honestly. This scene was really, it was perfect. I
agree. It's just the realization when Barry finally remembers.
Wally is, to me, Wally was just so wholeheartedly okay. He had accepted his situation, and he was just talking to Barry from his heart, and then Barry remembered, and that was just incredible.
Yeah, it really was. Just such a good moment. I loved it. And then Barry remembers everything from Wally.
Yeah, Barry starts remembering all of the pre-52 and everything that's happened, which is awesome.
Yeah, it was, from Wally to the Titans.
And then we get to the big twist at the end of the book, which is after Barry remembers everything, Wally tells him that Barry traveling through the timeline wasn't the only reason that the continuity was, or that they lost the 10 years of their lives, that someone else had a hand in it. And then we get shots of Batman walking through the Batcave, and under some of the wreckage that Wally had left whenever he traveled through the Speed Force at the beginning of the book, he notices something, and he digs up the pin from Watchmen that the comedian wears. As Wally West says, "We're being watched." So now, so the Watchmen exist in the DC universe, which is I never saw that coming.
I didn't either. It blew my mind.
And I think it's so spectacular. I absolutely love it. And then before we talk about it more, I'll go ahead and get to the epilogue. We get some shots of the universe and then Mars and a close-up of a watch, similar to how it was in the opening of the book. And then we get these narration boxes saying it all worked out in the end. And he says, "In the end, nothing ends, Adrian. Nothing ever ends." And the clock turns to Watchmen-style art. So this
good.
Is something that Jeff Johns has said will have ramifications in the DCU for years to come, which obviously this is insane setup.
So crazy.
It's incredible to me that they managed to, so I think, naturally weave a story from so far into DC's past into the new age of what DC is trying to do is insane. I think that's really crazy that they managed to do that Jeff Johns managed to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think to me it makes perfect sense, because if there's anyone that could have that could manipulate the universe like that, it's Dr. Manhattan.
Definitely.
It makes complete sense. So
It's going to be a controversial choice, but
oh, of course, it's gonna have a ton of backlash, but there's also a lot of people. I have seen so much positive feedback
same
to this.
here. I love
And
it. I love
that
it.
makes me so happy. I've seen a ton more positive than I have negative.
Yeah,
and
same.
that's really, really great. And also, one of the things that gets me really excited, and this is a conversation for another day, but the fact that there's even the tiniest chance that Dr. Manhattan can cameo in the DCEU is, oh, man,
Crazy.
that is incredible.
It is. And then the final page is beautiful. That double splash
Oh yeah, we
page.
have the double splash page that was revealed yesterday,
Yeah.
from
It's
DC,
just
of all the
gorgeous.
DC superheroes. Yeah, and they're all smiling.
It is, and that was Jeff Johns. His mission was to bring back the hope and the optimism of DC Comics.
He wants their heroes to be heroes.
Yeah, and man, if this is any indication of what Rebirth is, sign me up, dude. I am ready.
And I think that's how everyone feels, and I could not be more excited.
Yeah, I'm ready for this. The optimism.
I think this comic was exactly what it needed to be, and
It is. It definitely is. And man, I don't know. I'm so after reading today, I'm just 100% on board.
more than pleased. I can't wait. The rest of the titles cannot come out soon enough. I am at a loss for words.
This is just like the biggest love letter to DC fans ever.
It honestly, that's what this is. It really is. And it's the biggest love letter to long-term DC fans, and it's also a fantastic starting off point to so many other to like bring new fans in. And I think that's a great and wonderful thing for DC.
Yeah, it really is. Look at that. I mean, Wally West. So there's gonna be 2 Wally Wests.
Yes, they're cousins.
Yeah, they're cousins, and his new one.
Ooh, his
His new suit, the red and the silver. Oh, it looks so good.
Drawn by Brett Booth.
Yeah, of course, designed. He looks great. And then you've got the new 52 Wally West, who's kind of wearing the classic Kid Flash.
Kid Flash.
All I know is Titans Rebirth. I think everyone is going to want to read that one.
Yes, Titans Rebirth and Flash. I think everyone is going to want to pick up for Wally, because Wally is going to have such an impact immediately after this.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be really cool.
Absolutely. It just everything just looks so good. And I mean,
yeah, all of the new titles, honestly, they each have something about them that makes you go, yes, I want to pick that up. Yes,
exactly.
I want to pick that up.
Everything. And I was even skeptical because of Aquaman's new look.
His new look, yeah.
It looks so like Silver Age, just really classic. I gotta say, it's growing on me. The more I see it.
I've seen some different images of it now,
Yeah.
and in different pictures it looks better, I think.
Yeah.
So I think it'll definitely look a lot better in the first issue whenever it comes out.
Yeah, everything is just looking just fantastic. And I've just been looking through the last few pages with the covers for their Rebirth books, and it's just like, I've just released them. I need them now.
Man.
Next week.
Can't get here soon enough.
Well, next week is I know Batman.
Wait, is Batman really next week?
Yep,
I don't even.
Batman, Green
Dude,
Lanterns.
Oh my gosh.
I want to say
Batman,
Superman.
Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Superman.
Do you have the checklist?
Yeah, it's in the back of the Rebirth book. Yeah.
What is? Yeah, there it is. Okay. Yeah, Batman, Green Arrow, Green Lanterns, Superman. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, dude.
Anyway.
So many books, so many awesome stories. I'm so excited. But
killer
okay.
creative teams.
So 1 to 10, what would you give Rebirth?
10.
Number 1.
Easily.
10?
Easily
Same.
a 10.
If more than a 10.
This was one of the best comics I've ever read.
It was perfect.
No exaggeration.
It was everything that a DC fan In my opinion, it was everything that a DC fan could ask for.
A DC fan, or even just a comic book fan. I mean,
Yeah, it was a wonderful comic in general.
yeah, it was.
And if you're a fan of these characters, it's a love letter to you.
Yeah.
So
So,
definitely pick it up if you have not already. It's 100% worth it.
definitely.
And it's $2.99. It's like 80 pages of comic for $2.99.
Yeah.
You can't beat that.
You really can't. They could have easily charged us like $8 or something. You know, $7-8. But no, it's $2.99.
Yep. Okay, so I think that'll be all for this episode. But in the future, I think that we will be covering more of the Rebirth titles as they come out. We'll have to do more episodes like this.
Oh, we will be.
So be sure to stay tuned for that, and keep it locked to Comic Drops for all the latest drops in comic news. Later.